Tonight, let's find some money.
Full service here at KSL Investigates.
Can inexpensive products reduce your utility bill?
Wow, that's incredible. I honestly didn't think that $100 materials was gonna bring it down this far.
Go. Plus, what do you really get when you pay more for batteries?
This looks the same as this, looks the same as this.
And do you have perks in your wallet right now that are going to waste?
Most people are surprised.
You ask KSL Investigates, stretching your dollars to the max right now.
Well, good evening and Happy New Year. No question about it, this has been a tough year financially for a lot of folks. So tonight we wanted to revisit some of our consumer investigations from the past year, specifically those that could maybe help us all save a little bit of money. We begin with a little bit of impulse shopping. You've probably seen products at your local hardware store boasting that for just a couple of bucks you can slash your heating bill. But do they really do that much? We put a few to the test.
On this day in Salt Lake City, the temperature outside was below freezing.
It's gonna snow.
Should just fit in the door. Open this back up.
Why, what a perfect day for Thomas Gamoyne to set up a giant fan and pump out the warm air from inside this joint.
Yeah, you can feel it in your ears, right?
Thomas is a professional energy auditor. People pay him hundreds of dollars to come into their homes and find deficiencies. Mike Berger's home has plenty.
Just 113-year-old windows.
Like many homes in Sugar House, Mike's bungalow was built more than a century ago, and you can just feel it. The whole place leaks. Mike agreed to let us put his home through the ringer in the hopes of finding ways to save a little energy, money, and sanity.
Is your house cold?
It's cold. It's always cold.
The fan simulates a strong wind outside and exaggerates the leaks.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is.
Right away, we felt the living room's temperature begin to plummet right around the fireplace.
You want to feel it? It's huge amount of air coming through there.
So much that, look.
It just blew it out.
I'm going to take a close shot of that.
And while the lighter trick is neat, this high-tech infrared radar really shows us what we're dealing with.
You can see the temperature on these windows. The low end is 35 degrees.
Thomas found major leaks and weak spots all over. Several windows, the back door, and believe it or not, through some of the outlets and light switches. Thomas took all that data and put together this detailed report showing the leaks and recommending fixes. For example, new windows could cut energy use by 25%, new insulation by more than 6%. But these are the kind of upgrades for which many families would have to save for many years. But your home is cold right now, and besides, you probably don't have a spare tens of thousands of dollars lying around. Well, you know, most hardware stores sell a plethora of items that they claim will make your home more energy efficient. So we decided to test a few of those out with a more reasonable budget, about $100. This, for example, cost us $16. It's shrink wrap on a handy roll. Simply tape it on, then shrink it down, the instructions say. It's idiot-proof. Well, almost.
See, this is why you never say yes to a TV station.
We bought several packages of shrink wrap and used it to attack some of the leakier windows in Mike's home. $7 got us some weather stripping that we used around Mike's back door. $8 got us this fancy window sealer called a draft buster. $21 for some insulation that we stuffed into the fireplace, and we spent $10 on these foam outlet seals.
When you agreed to have a television station come over, did you know this was what you're gonna have to do some manual labor?
No.
In total, $94 and a penny, and a little elbow grease.
Full service here at KSL Investigates.
We waited a week, then called Thomas back. As he got back to work on his fancy fan, Mike was happy to tell us that it
Doesn't feel as drafty, I guess,
felt
right?
less drafty in his home, but the scientific moment of truth left our energy auditor blown away.
Wow, I am pleasantly surprised with the results.
Using a pressure reading from last week and one from today, Thomas is able to calculate that the amount of air leaking was cut way down. This 16-year-old pro says he is stunned.
That's like a third down almost, or a quarter of the way down. And this was just, how long did you take? 2 hours?
Hour and a half.
And $100 of materials?
About $100 of materials.
Wow, that's incredible. I honestly didn't think that $100 of materials was going to bring it down this far.
Put into dollars and cents, in energy savings, we'd pay ourselves back that $100 in 4 or 5 months, Thomas says. After that, it's all money in Mike's pocket, plus comfort.
It feels better. It doesn't feel as drafty. I think that I'm not as cold, especially at night.
I've always said I bet it could be done for very little money. I've just never done it or seen it done.
Hey, speaking of heat, if you're somebody who warms up your car, you may be wasting money right out of your tailpipe. That old adage of it being good for your car to let it run for a few minutes before driving, no longer necessary in most modern engines. The KSL investigators talked to mechanics who say that all you're really doing is wasting gas, not to mention polluting the air. Their advice, start it up when you're ready to drive it, and just don't plan on flooring the car for a couple of minutes. All right, let's change gears, so to speak. A pack of batteries can run from a couple of bucks to close to 50. So what exactly do you get when you pay more? We found a couple of RC car enthusiasts to help us answer that question.
1, 2, 3.
Here's a way to test battery life: an endurance race between radio-controlled cars.
Go.
I am in a battery-draining slug match at Eaton's Intermountain RC Raceway against RC enthusiast Chris Shaw
Are you trying to run me over?
and his daughter Tegan. And well, this race has taken some nasty turns. Let's jump back to where we first loaded our identical cars with 3 different types of AAA batteries.
I just got the max.
Chris is racing on alkaline, Tegan fueled by lithium. For me, it's good old-fashioned zinc carbon. When we told track owner Joel Eaton our big plan, he quickly picked a winner.
So my initial takes is lithium is going to produce the longest runtime. They're also the lightest battery.
You think you're going to win? I think I'm going to win.
Well, with zinc carbon in my tank, it is going to be hard for the rubber on my claim to meet the proverbial road. The sole advantage of zinc carbon is that they're cheap. Way cheap. We paid just $2.25 for an 8-pack. Meanwhile, Chris's alkaline batteries have 3 to 5 times more capacity and a longer shelf life of 5 to 10 years. But we also paid a lot more, $8.29 for 8.
I like how fast it goes.
Tegan's lithium batteries supply more juice than the other 2 with a shelf life that can go past 10 years.
Chris, you have my permission to ground her.
But they are also the most expensive, $13.49 for our 8-pack. But just 24 minutes in, that higher price tag did not seem so bad.
I'm dead.
That's right. Less than 30 minutes and my zinc carbons died, drained, kaput, no more. Not only that, some sort of non-battery related glitch
Are you really done?
put the kibosh on Chris's alkaline-powered car.
It's not really working.
So that left Tegan's ultimate lithium batteries as the winner by default.
We both just got whooped by a 9-year-old.
I know.
Whooped, sure, but a default is no good, so we put together another, more scientific test. Back home, we popped fresh batteries into each car and then ran the cars on blocks until each wore out. And this time it took a while. The zinc carbon AAAs quit after 1 hour and 4 minutes. It took another hour to drain the alkalines, and the lithium batteries took a whopping 3 hours and 35 minutes to burn out. So, lithium definitely scores for longest endurance, but which type had the best value?
No! No!
Well, in these RC cars, the zinc carbons cost us 63 cents an hour, while Tegan's lithium batteries had a far better value at 35 cents an hour. But it was the alkaline that barely edged out a win at 34 cents an hour.
Battery packaging makes all sorts of bold, promising claims. Optimum, ultimate, fusion, high energy, max. What does it all mean? Nothing.
Duracell here, for example, has what they call a quantum. And
I asked Terry Lowe, the owner of Battery Specialists, what exactly those words mean. His answer? Not a thing.
you know, max and ultimate, I would think max is longer. But ultimate lithium is their top of the line product for AA size.
Many of those buzzwords are registered trademarks, pure marketing jargon. They are not any indication of a benchmark that a battery maker had to meet in order to use it. So you can just ignore them. As for what the best value is for your wallet, Lowe says it depends on what you're trying to power. Yes, lithium will work for everything.
But price-wise, you'd probably be better going with alkaline in a lot of things.
Lowe says alkaline is often best for things like household goods, toys, flashlights, portable radios, music players, and smoke alarms. Lithium, on the other hand, really good at the high drain devices, stuff like digital cameras, handheld video games, and RC cars. And zinc carbon, well, they're good for TV remotes and some wall clocks, he says.
If you have things that maybe get left on, maybe you have kids at home that turn things on, and it doesn't matter how long they last because they get one use out of it.
So a good way not to make your kids happy on Christmas Day? Slap zinc carbon batteries into their new toys. They'll end up like this as the other kids' toys spin circles around them.
All right, still to come, itching for a little vacation in 2021. Is travel insurance a good investment, and which ones can leave you high and dry? Plus, check your wallet. You may have some free services in there right now that you don't even know about. Welcome back. You know, with a COVID-19 vaccine in sight, you're probably like me, just itching for a little bit of travel. Still, there is a ton of uncertainty, so we checked out whether or not travel insurance might be good for you, pandemic or otherwise.
Here at Columbus Travel in Bountiful, agents are fielding questions from customers concerned about one thing: coronavirus.
Yeah, you'll never get anything out
As
of him.
owner Larry Gelwick's pushing travel protection plans. They come with a wide array of terms and conditions, what they cover, what they don't. But one thing they almost all do: provide you a refund if you get sick. But only if you get sick.
What travel protection does not include is, I'm afraid I might get sick.
That's right. Say you're booking a trip to Hawaii, and right before you're supposed to leave, the region is hit with the virus and you just don't want to go anymore. Many travel protection plans won't do anything for you. But there's a very important exception, Gelwick says.
One of the most important things now with this coronavirus scare is cancel for any reason coverage.
If the U.S. government says it's not a good idea to go there, there's a pretty good chance you'll see airlines waiving change fees or cruise ships letting you off the hook. But with cancel for any reason coverage, you have the power.
You can cancel for any reason. I don't feel like going to Hawaii today.
It is coverage that comes with a catch. It will often only give you a partial refund, and you usually have to buy it within 2 weeks of booking your trip. Still, this 40-year veteran of the travel industry says now more than ever, it is something you should consider when booking your trip.
I hate paying for my auto insurance, but I wouldn't dream of driving without it. And so it is with travel protection.
Still to come, the credit card perks in your wallet that you likely don't know about. Plus, all those investments you made this year in your home office, how much of that are you going to be able to write off as a work expense? We'll be right back. Welcome back. Here's a bit of 2020 good news. Americans have paid down $119 billion in credit card debt during this pandemic. That according to a new report from Wallet Hub. That is a 10.8% drop in debt. It has left credit card companies now scrambling to try to figure out ways to keep customers. And for us, that means perks beyond just airline miles or free checked bags. Some credit card companies are letting folks use unused miles to settle other debts. The KSL investigators found one that let us settle a $16.15 debt on Amazon for 1,615 miles. Or even a burrito, 1,012 miles settled a $10.12 Cafe Rio tab. And here's another perk. Many credit card companies come with what they call a concierge service. Now, in normal times, it's designed to help customers out with things like where you might find some good sushi if you're new in town. But earlier this year, when certain items were pretty much impossible to find on store shelves, I decided to put my concierge to the test.
It is a modern-day real-life thriller, and we all know the feeling. With each expiring roll, will we be able to find another? Store shelves have been picked bare, forcing folks to hunt store after store at a time when we are supposed to be staying home. And we could still strike out.
Daddy, Nico's the bathroom.
Is there a better way? Many credit cards come with a complimentary concierge service. I happen to have the Capital One Venture card, which is backed by Visa Signature. Online, they say use them for travel, dining, entertainment, and personal assistance. Personal assistance, you say?
Hello, and thanks for calling the Visa Signature Concierge team.
Let's give it a shot. I answered a couple of automated questions.
We'll first need to verify your Visa Signature card account.
Then waited to get through.
My goodness, you answered quickly. Hi, my name is Matt.
It took all of about 4 seconds.
Well, I don't know if this is something you guys do, but I am out of toilet paper and I can't seem to find any.
A real-life person told me he would be pleased to help, took down all my information, and promised to call around.
Hey, thanks. Have a great day.
It's free, so it really is like having a personal assistant on call.
I stole the idea from Ted Rossman, the industry analyst at creditcards.com.
Most credit card holders, whether they know it or not, actually qualify for a free concierge service.
Ted says he tried a similar experiment near his home outside New York City.
Lo and behold, it worked.
In about 90 minutes, Ted had a call back telling him a store within 10 miles that he could find TP. Like me, Ted has had the concierge service available for as long as he's had his card, but he's never used it before.
This is a great perk. It's one that I plan on using again, hopefully for better things.
Better things than toilet paper, no such thing. Did it work for me? Yeah, you bet it did. It took a couple of hours, but I got an email from my credit card company with a list of 3 places that had TP available on the shelf. All right, in some less rosy news, imagine having your credit card shut off without you even knowing about it. As our investigation found, it is happening right now in droves.
Cash is king. Well, it used to be anyway. Nowadays, more and more people are choosing plastic as their payment option of choice. And in fact, many stores will not even take your dirty 20s anymore. And it's not just a COVID thing. Last year, the Vivint Smart Home Arena put an end to all cash transactions. At the time, the argument was to keep the lines moving. But now, with COVID, others are falling in line. From restaurants to hardware stores, you have seen the signs. No cash accepted. Our investigation found it has led to an embarrassing scenario for thousands all over the country. Imagine it, getting to the end of your meal or to the front of the line and denied. Then again and again. Your card just won't go through. You call the credit card company to ask if there's some sort of problem, perhaps fraud. You're told, no, the problem is you. They have decided you are no longer worthy of credit. But how can that be? You're a good credit customer. You mostly pay your bills on time, and nobody ever indicated there was any sort of a problem until your card wouldn't go through. Well, our investigation found you're in good company. According to this report from Compare Cards, nearly 50 million American credit card holders said they have involuntarily had their credit limit slashed on at least one of their credit cards, or even had the card closed entirely by the issuer since COVID struck. That is 1 out of every 4 credit card holders. Now, by law, a credit card company must tell you if they change your terms, like bumping up your interest rate, but cutting you off, they do not have to tell you.
It's really troubling because
Matt Scholes with Lending Tree says, welcome to life in a recession.
What happens is that banks get really nervous and are really risk averse when unemployment spikes and when the economy takes a really sharp turn really quickly.
It can be an expensive problem for you also. A slashed credit limit can slash your credit score, leaving you paying more the next time you finance something like a house, car, or an air conditioner. But it can also put people in desperate situations for things they need right now, like food.
That means that an awful lot of folks are going to be without a lifeline that a lot of folks were depending on.
When plastic is the only option at stores, but the credit is not there, folks may hope to lean on their debit cards.
The numbers are pretty staggering.
But that also can be easier said than done, says Greg McBride with Bankrate.com.
We were in a pretty tenuous spot from a savings standpoint to begin with. Weak savings is kind of up there with baseball and apple pie at this point as American institutions. Back in January, which seems like light years ago, even then, only 41% of households could cover an unplanned $1,000 expense out of savings.
And it is a problem that, of course, has gotten worse. A Bankrate survey found 31 million Americans have or plan to tap into their retirement funds as an immediate source of income because of the coronavirus pandemic. Others are turning to ridiculously high interest rate lenders.
Credit cards, average rate is over 16%. And if you have to resort to things like payday loans, Where you really get into trouble is rolling that over from one period to the next. That's where you could end up paying back many more times the amount you actually borrowed.
McBride's advice to KSL viewers: if you are in a position to squirrel away money, do it, and do it now. And Schultz's: that credit card that's been gathering dust in your wallet may be worth swiping once or twice on a couple of small purchases.
The most important thing for folks to know is that the cards that are most likely to be closed or have their limits reduced are ones that aren't used very often, simply because banks aren't making any money off of them.
Still to come, one good way to stretch your dollars in this economy. Well, make sure you don't waste a single one of them on scams or scammers. Some of 2020's most pervasive flim-flams coming up next. If there is one group that's absolutely loved 2020, it's scammers and identity thieves. They have had a banner year. The pandemic has made unemployment ID theft huge. Here, imposters, claim unemployment benefits using the names and info of real-life people who have not filed for unemployment. Likely that information has come from a prior data breach. Shopping scams on social media are also ripping people off by the thousands. Folks buying products they see on their feeds at an amazing discount, but all they end up getting is some worthless knick-knack from a vendor that has disappeared or tells them they can't ship it back to China. And the Better Business Bureau says that pet scams have become more than doubled this year compared to 2019. If the seller won't let you see your pandemic puppy or quarantine cat before you pay, either in person or through video chat, they say walk away. And for decades, .org has been synonymous, right, with charities or nonprofits, but there's a problem the KSL investigators found. You cannot trust every .org website. We focus on making the maximum positive effort for our community. And we showed you how I was able to quickly build my own .org website, mattgephardt.org, for nothing really. All I had to do was I didn't have to show any proof that I was a nonprofit. I didn't have to meet any special criteria whatsoever.
For every effort there is to do something good, there's also scammers who try and take advantage of that same sentiment.
All right, so before donating, what can you do? Well, first, don't use unfamiliar .orgs without checking them out first. GuideStar.org is a legitimate .org, and they let you see if a charity is registered with the feds. Also, in order to raise money in Utah, any charity in Utah raising money must be registered with the Utah Division of Consumer Protection. Sure, we may feel extra charitable this time of year, but it is important, they say, not to let our guards down. Hey, I want to thank you for joining us for this special on stretching our dollars to the max. On behalf of everybody here at KSL, Happy New Year.